There is a big gender war going on, and it's not different from any other time in history when we don't understand our beginning. If you want to know the origin of something, you go to the manual. You figure out how it works. If you want to know about a car that Ford created, you go to the Ford Motor Company. If you want to figure out how an Apple product, you go to the Apple Company. You look at the manual. If you want to know about how men and women work together, you go to the Word of God. You go to the one who created it all. And I want to use that as a background for what I'm going to talk about today, the difference between what it means to be a feminine woman and have masculine energy, as they're calling it these days. But it's a root that needs to be discussed of its origin. It's important for us to understand who we are and how we were originally created. What was God's idea? What was the original design for men and women, and how we work together to achieve the ideal for God's life, for the Garden of Eden, for the world, for the earth, for heaven to be here on earth. That's how we were created. He made the male and female, and he gave both of them dominion, and he blessed them. So both men and women have the blessing of God, made in God's image, and were given dominion. But that looks like something different for each one's role, and that's a hot topic today. I know with equity in the workplace, that's a really big issue, but I want to get to the heart of the matter, what it means to be a feminine woman. I cannot speak to all of the gender wars and the arguments over role and who's supposed to do what. I can only go by what God's original design is and what his word says, and what is so naturally feminine to me, what are natural feminine inclinations, and how life had something to do with the shift. If you look at the woman in the household, that was a big thing. The woman in the workplace, that was a big thing. Does she belong there? Should women be educated? Women were made in the image of God, just like a man was. And the assignment that God gave each gender, male and female, was for a specific end, but to work together. I don't have to sacrifice my femininity to be in a man's space, and neither does a man have to sacrifice his masculinity to be in a woman's space. I believe that we complement each other. Say it with me. Men and women complement each other. That's so important. What does that mean? We synchronously, harmoniously, are in a symbiotic relationship. That's a biological term, which means that we both have something to offer the environment by working together, and neither species is harmed. A man and a woman can coexist with our roles, our natural proclivities and inclinations, and it worked for the benefit of the other party. So I can be as feminine as I want to be, and I can have a responsibility of a leadership role, but I can still be a woman. I don't have to sacrifice my femininity or step over into a male posture in order to get things done. But I had to learn that. I grew up in a post-feminine world, just like most of my lady friends whose mother had to fight for equality in the workplace as far as pay was concerned, and job opportunities, and getting an education. My mother was the first. She was a patriarch in her family to go to college and to get a degree and to get a master's and then another master's and on and on and on. And so I did pick up those inclinations, but I always had a proclivity to be ambitious, very goal-oriented. But I made the mistake of listening to a broader cultural conversation that wanted to define me as a person My goals and my ambitions had absolutely nothing to do with my original intent and my design, my ability, my smarts, my drive, my intuition. All of these things work together in order for me to be me. All of those things. But the beauty of being a woman, I feel like the broader conversation almost robbed young women of the beauty of what it means. There's nothing wrong with being a homemaker. There's nothing wrong with being a keeper at home and college educated. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your family and running a business. I heard the former CEO of HP, Meg, said that she loves being a CEO, but she loves being a wife as well. You don't have to sacrifice your natural inclinations of womanhood in order to attain or to achieve. In my former life, I was climbing up that proverbial ladder, leaning against the wrong wall. I didn't pursue a family. I pursued education. I pursued inventions. I traveled. I wrote books. I ran companies, and that was okay. And so one day I woke up and was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute, hold on. What my truest heart's desire was not only to achieve, but to contribute to the world and to leave my mark in this world. And then I decided, you know what? The habits that I picked up in the business world do not work well in relationships. And I do that of a man? Yes, I can, but do I want to? No. Am I going to? No. I choose to walk in my feminine graces. I choose to bring the beauty to the room, the softness. I choose to honor the loving side that life has to offer and to bring that. And now let me just tell you, it wasn't always this way, because I had a very, a colossal attitude problem, if you will. I wasn't always so gracious. And I can honestly admit that today. And it was not the kind of company that my relationships would support, if you will. Tension ensued, and the choice to part ways became obvious when I'm taking personal responsibility of not being able who I need to be. It doesn't matter what somebody else chooses to do. I know what I want. I know what I desire, and I know what I have to offer. And the joy and the beauties of being feminine. Writing my own companies, yeah, I did that. Traveled the world, got that check. Wrote books, got a PhD, and so on and so forth. But leadership does not mean that I have to abdicate my role of being who I enjoy being, a feminine woman. And we're going to talk so much more about this on my YouTube channel. I'm so happy about in the Women's Bible Study, Woman Thrive. I believe that God is calling women back to enjoy who He created us to be. I believe this is the greatest time that men and women are going to begin to enjoy fruitful relationships again. I just believe it's that time in human history where we have gone through the cycles of competition, and now we are going to begin to work synchronously and symbiotically in relationships for the greater good, for the bigger goal, enjoying each other's company while fulfilling our kingdom assignment. That's what time it is. And the more we get comfortable in who we were created to be and who we were born to be, the more we will begin to enjoy our relationships again. There won't be any competition because we all know our place. Yes, we all have our place because we're all going to enjoy again who we were created to be, who we were born to be, and for us to complete our original assignment. Being feminine has more to do with a heart posture than what comes out of my mouth. Who you decide to be from a heart posture is what gives you your feminine value, and everything else shall be added unto you. Until next time, we'll have this conversation again.